Hi everyone, it's Paula from Paula Quilting. Welcome back, or hello if it's your first time. So today we have a Scrappy 9-patch star. So I'm very excited about this block because it's a great block on its own for a quilt, but it's also our last block for Southampton Quilters Quilt Along 2020-2021. So once we have those blocks ready, we can put the quilt together and then I can show you how it looks. So if you have any questions, please make sure you ask. So we are all here to help each other in our quilty world. Hi everyone, so today we are working on the last block for our quilt along for Southampton Quilters, and for those who are not doing that project, then obviously this is another block you can use in your own quilts. So for that one we need 5 4.5-inch squares and 8 2.5 by 4.5 pieces of the fabric, and then we will need 8 2.5 by 2.5 squares to snowball those strips here, which I will show you in a minute. So I've chosen white because one of the quilts I'm making got another star already with white, so I kind of go with it. The second type, because I'm making 2 quilts, will possibly be with the black. So let's start with that. So what we want to do, you can see the setup. So for the quilt we are making, we need 4 of those blocks. I will be making 8 again because I'm making 2 quilts at the same time. So you, depending how many you're making, obviously you will make so many. So first things, we want to snowball those rectangles. And how we want to make sure is that the white bead is going this direction on one side and that direction, here we go, on the other side. And that, when we stitch this together, will create the kind of the star shape here all around. So I will try to chain piece it, obviously, because that's my favorite method of piecing the stuff. So what I will do, just to help myself with it, I will take one side all around and then I will stitch it the way I showed you, so going this way, and then when I finish I will do the other side. I'm not going to be chain piecing too many blocks at the same time because it's easy, you know, to confuse yourself with it, so I'll just take it slowly this time. So I will keep it the way I need it. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's the way I need it, this way. I will even pin it while I'm moving the camera so I remember what I'm doing. Okay, so that will be the first piece I will chain piece. Okay, so for that part of the process I don't need a 1/4-inch foot. I will just use normal foot because it will be easier to see what I'm doing. I normally draw my line here. I can follow to make a kind of straight stitch, and also I need to align my needle with the middle of my foot because it's not in the same point. So I just do that every time I need to snowball something. That's fine. I still got my line here, so I will just try to kind of eyeball it at this occasion. So once I do the first one, I will know where I'm going with it. So let's do that first one as it's stitched here, or as it pinned here. Okay. My stitch length is narrower. It's 1/8 setup. This is what I normally use when I'm stitching patchwork. I know, you know, you should normally probably use 2.5, whatever machine kind of standard setup comes with, but I just like to have it narrower. I know it might be not so easy when you want to kind of take it apart something, but I'm finding that with a lot of small pieces, and I do a lot of, you know, scrappy ones, that holds the things together quite well. And my piece went to the machine. That's usually what happens when you're starting the first one. So let's just go back on that one and start again. So on this occasion it's probably better to use some leaders. So just a piece of fabric to get you going. I will take something from my bin, which I've got just next to me, and that will now nicely pull the fabric for me. Okay. Still eating my fabric. I do not know why. Let's start. Let's try to put it from the other side. I still use that one. I'll try on this side. Yeah, it's taking it better, so I will use that side. Now where I know that how that first piece have went in, which way I'm snowballing, I'll just make sure that all the other pieces are going the same way. Okay, so now I will grab the other ones, and I will just make sure that that line I kind of hand pressed on this one goes in the right direction. Yeah, that's how I want it. And I will just grab the other ones and now sew the other side. Okay, so let's see if I made it right. I mean, my project is very scrappy, so as far as they go in the two different directions, I should be fine. So that's one side, because I'm not fussed about which kind of colors go on which side, so that's fine with me. And you might have used the same fabric, so it kind of gives you a kind of illusion that it's one piece, so that you know, it will not matter either. Okay, so that's one side, and then we've got other side. Perfect. Okay, so what I need to do now is cut out all of those bits which I don't need and iron it out so I can stitch them together. Okay, so that's all ironed. Let's just see what we've got here. I did iron them to the let me just put them first before I start talking, otherwise I'm getting confused. Okay, so I did iron them to the dark side, just so those you know, trim pieces do not stick, kind of go visible through my fabric. But yours may not necessarily be so see-through as my white fabric, so just go with what it's more you know, comfortable for you. Okay, so the next bit of stitching is put those 2.5 by 4.5 together, and for that I do need my 1/4 inch foot. Okay, and I will just chain piece them. I think my machine doesn't like that white fabric and it's eating it for that reason. Okay, Okay, I will iron them again, and then we have just simple 9 patch to sew together. Okay, so let's put them now in. Looking pretty good. I think there's only one here which didn't come exactly on the seam, but I'm not going to amending it. If it bothers you, well, it's up to you how you want to go about it. So now it's as normal 9 patch. I will go with the first column first to stitch it together, and then I will add the last column and then go around in the rows. So it's all going to be stitched as a chain piecing system. Okay, so this is our block. I just need to repeat this process 3 times for the first quilt and 4 times for the second quilt. And since this is the last block we have made for this quilt, we'll be putting it together as well. So let me crack on with the blocks, and I will show you how the full top looks when it's all put together. So this is my darker version of the 9 patch star block, and because I've used the same fabric to make the snowballs, it kind of created that secondary design here with the square. I haven't sewn them together yet, so obviously that will kind of think will make a nice square there. So I think it looks pretty neat. You know, you can either make it scrappy or, you know, have all of those fabrics more coordinated. Will look good, or if we kind of shift them a little bit with and, you know, put some sort of sashing in between, that give us you know, another look all together. So we can do like this. So let's have a look at that brighter ones, which I kind of made even more scrappy than this one. So with the darker ones, I was trying to put a similar fabric or the same fabric in the main squares. Here, all of the squares are totally different, but I kept them quite bright just to go with the scheme. And you obviously want to make sure that you have a contrast between what you put as the squares and what you put as those 2.5 by 4.5 beads to kind of have that star to pop up. If it's going to be the same color, you know, or a color scheme, it's not going to be so visible. So this is how it will look if we had some sort of sashing in between. Quite kind of calm quilt. I use the same squares in the middle, but everything else is kind of much more scrappy than the other version. And again, if we put them together, because again I've used the white fabric here, we have that secondary design. I mean, you could as well use different shades of bright fabric or dark fabric, depending which option you're making, and that will give different kind of look of that in the middle as well. So I am very happy with that block. Gives a lot of opportunities to play with, you know, with the sashing and other stuff. So pretty neat. I think I quite like that. So that might be something I'll be working on maybe in the future to put in some bigger design with other blocks. So we'll see where it takes us. Alright, so now it's time to actually put it in the bigger quilt with design. So, and then I will sew the top together. I cannot wait now. Okay, so I cannot fit all the quilt yeah, on the design board. So this is our half of that inside panel, and obviously all the other kind of quadrants are the mirror image of what you can see. So this is all sewn already, and those are the remaining blocks, and this is where that 9 patch star block fits in. So then we'll have obviously the second one there, and the further down other blocks. Okay, so I will now crack on with sewing all of that quilt together, and I will show you a final result. As I was putting those blocks together here, I was just thinking that actually if I added those blocks around that star block like that, that will make a really nice center of well, another quilt. Just add it in. Need 2 more. And then here you can have maybe just a plain fabric or another halfway triangle going this way. Let's see how it will look with those corner ones. Here you go, quite, you know, interesting, another layout you could do with the same blocks. So if you decide to do any of those blocks, you have many more options as well, how you want to lay them out. I actually quite like that kind of square frame around that start, kind of make it looks like it's on point. Alright then, I will now start sewing the quilt, and I will show you how it looks when it's finished. And I finished my quilt tops for our quilt along Southampton Quilters 2020-2021. It was a few months journey, but we have arrived. I mean, it's clear to say that my color choices have had no rhyme and no reason, but I still like the quilt how it came out. I mean, it was totally scrappy, so you have those, you know, bits and pieces left from something else and you don't know how, you know, what to do with them. Here's the idea how to put them together, like, you know, don't plan, just use them. So that's the quilt top number 1. So that's with the kind of darker colors, especially around the center and the stars. And this is my second color option. So I did choose for that one a little bit more settled colors. They've got a little bit of different character, but they both look great. So the size I've chosen for those quilt alongs are the one that they do not require the borders. But if you want to make that quilt a little bit bigger, you know, by all means you can add the borders to extend it a little bit further, or you can even take 1 or 2 blocks from those patterns and kind of make a little bit more blocks to go around it. But for me, I will leave them as they are, and I will just quilt them, and they'll be donated to Project Linus. It is now August, and we hope to have our first meeting in September. So I hope to bring both of those quilts, you know, to the meeting ready quilted to show to the rest of the group. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the Scrappy 9 patch star, and if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments below. I'm linking in the description to our Pola Quilting with Friends group, so you can show off your work there if you have done any of those blocks, and I hope to see you next time.